It was so great to reconnect with my next guest, and how we did that was through fitness and a supplement company, which is a cool story, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Welcome to Walt's Kitchen Table, where I feature captivating stories by fascinating people. Brittany, her and I were able to sling some iron before this podcast, and it was great to work out with her. She is a beast. You ever get a chance to get in the gym with her, I highly recommend it. And we talk about that and balancing fitness, nutrition with everyday life, along with, yes, social media. Let's get to it. Because, you asked me, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
What you asked me how I got this started, and the reason for it's kitchen table is greatest stories ever told, I think, greatest stories ever around a table. Like last night we had a big dinner party here, and we ended up scooting the table over here, and there's like 6 of us.
That's awesome.
Just yelling into the mic and yelling and all this ambient noise. I haven't listened to the file, so I ain't got a clue what it sounds like.
Right.
But I've been finding out people get a little shy or get, there are some things that don't belong on the air.
Yeah.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? And the thing is, you can get around most things by just talking at 30,000 feet. You don't have to say, okay, Bob and I went over and did this last night.
Right.
You can kind of get around it. But
yeah.
I know that, like, your story is cool. I know a lot of your story, just from us talking and what you do on social media. But there's probably a ton of people out there that when they listen to it, they're like, fuck.
Right.
If she did it, I'm going to go do it.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the idea of me sharing this stuff is, people have come up to me and like, I started a podcast because you did.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay,
it breaks the barrier.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They're like, oh, well, you did it. Well, at first I'm like, well, what's that say? What the fuck? What do you mean? Because I did it. But the thing is, too, and I don't know if I'm going to assume that you get it in fitness as well. I have people come up to me at the gym. I had this one guy come up out of nowhere. Have you seen my website?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
He come out of nowhere. The idea behind my website, I'll back up a little bit, was just for fun, just to have something. And at the time I was looking for a new job, and everybody's like, with your social media and you have an old website and this kind of thing. I'm like, well, fuck, if I'm going to make a website, I'm going to do something I enjoy, And I like fitness, I like throwing weight around. I consider myself a hashtag mover of iron. I love that hashtag. But a guy come up to me and he says, hey, man, you're the reason I'm here today. And I was like, oh, my name's Walt, and you are? Yeah. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, my name's Alan. He says, but he goes, I had like 45 minutes to come to the gym. He goes, I was standing in my hallway at my house. And he goes, I was debating whether to come to the gym or not. And he goes, what flashed into my mind, he goes, I wonder that big guy's at the gym. That one big guy, he goes, I wonder what he would say if he saw me sitting here deliberating.
Say, get your ass to the
he
gym.
Goes, and he goes, get my ass to the gym. He goes, that's why I'm here. And I go, dude, that is amazing. So you only have 45 minutes, so I'm going to let you go. And I turned around and walked away.
Yeah.
And now I see him all the time at the gym, and, and he
Yep.
gives me the nod and all that kind of thing. So
That's the best.
that's why I want to share stories like that. So, and then while I came home, and it felt good, and I told my wife about it, and she goes, imagine the people that don't say anything to you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fuck, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So have you ever thought about that? Like the stuff you post, and I'm going to go on a limb that like you're doing it because you enjoy it, but I mean, to inspire somebody, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's tenfold. So I do it because I like to do it. And it's also become, I don't journal, and I kind of wish I did. So I got to get on it, but it's become my journal. And as I've intentionally become more vulnerable this year, it's been like, I didn't set a resolution right in January. I don't believe in them. Yeah, I didn't set one. Yep. I set an intention, and I wanted to be more authentic. And with that is vulnerability. So Absolutely. My Instagram, it's not so much Facebook. I have a little bit more of a work front on Facebook, but I do let some of it through. But my Instagram has been like you can see right through. Like, I'm not always telling you what's happening that day that made me upset, but I'm going to show you that I'm upset on Instagram and then how I worked through it. So with that, it's helpful for me and it's healing for me. And it also, when I go back and I see things like, oh, a year ago I was doing this, that's good for me. What's come out of it is a whole lot of people who I would never imagine reaching out saying the same for themselves. And I can totally relate with strangers coming
They just come up to you and
yeah. And the first couple times, like, it still gets me. Like, I'm still like, whoa, I'm not as surprised anymore, but it's really humbling. Like, it's like you're making that impact. And like, that's big for me. So now my Instagram, right, if we're talking about social media, I do it for myself, but then I do, like, when I'm thinking of that, when I'm writing my posts, I'll just write, and then I go back and I reframe it to make sure, like, someone else can get something out of it to push them forward. So it's not just about myself. So, like, I'll try and pose something in there. Like, if I'm talking about overcoming, like, a specific obstacle, I'll pose something so that they're reflecting. And whether or not it works, I don't know, but I do try and put a little something in there so that they bring it back on themselves. So they're not just reading about my life, but they're
like, oh, man, same thing. Like, oh,
Right.
I should do that, or
Right.
I could do that. Not sure.
Right.
I don't believe that. I mean, I think that people do what they want to do, and
Yeah.
when they're forced to it, I don't think it lasts very long.
Yeah, it's I mean,
Like you said, you like doing it like I do. I
Yeah.
like being in the gym. There's nothing that's going to change that.
exactly.
You know, that whole thing.
It is
The
a
only
little
thing that's
different.
Well,
yeah.
the only thing that's going to change is 6 foot of dirt. You know?
Yeah. No, I do say that too. Like, but even us, like, we love the gym. We like to work out, and it's like we still struggle. Like, we struggle a lot. I've had days I go in the gym, I can't fucking do anything, and I look in the mirror and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
one, do you even lift? Two, like, why are
You even lift, bro.
like, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Talking hashtags. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
But like, I have those days, and they aren't that rare. They happen, and it's like, how do you get through them?
Well, would you agree that days like that or similar or more often than the days are like, fuck yeah, I'm killing it today. I feel amazing. I feel great. Where do you think the percentage of that is?
It's hard to put a number because just like everything else in life, it's mountains and valleys.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like, I mean, I felt great. If I'm thinking very, very recently, and it's what, June now, but if I go back, I was feeling really, really good fall of last year. And then January and February, I was in a funk. And I didn't even realize I was in a funk until the end of January, when I was like, what the heck have I been doing? Like,
Yeah.
so it takes a second to kick in, and you realize you're not hitting the same numbers. You're not feeling the same. You don't look the same. I haven't put out the same amount of content, which means, like, one, I'm not thinking the same, right?
Right.
Because in order to put it out, you kind of have to be inspired yourself.
Well, that being said, too, I hear people, both sides go, okay, you have to post, for an example, 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Or you hear people say, whenever you're inspired, just post. And that's what I do. Whenever I feel it, I go. I don't be like, I have to put something out today.
Because then it's not as
genuine.
authentic.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's, again, with that word, that's what I'm trying to do here. And I mean, not trying, I am. So we're talking words. The word try, that's like intent to fail. So if I say it, I try and pull that back, right? Like, it's not a good word for me. But
Well, it's like there's no such thing as if.
Yeah.
It's when.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a big one for me. I like that one.
Yeah, that is a good one. It's super valid. With posting, I'd say just because of some of the things I'm involved in, I try and keep a consistent flow. But even recently, like with travel and work, and it's like I've been all over the place, and I'm not even taking pictures right now. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
so it's like, what am I going to post? And I have this weird thing. I have tons of things I could post, And I'm not really good with posting pictures from even like last week. I really struggle with it. Like if you go through my feed, you will rarely see like a throwback. On my story, you will. On my feed, you don't. And
No, I agree with you on that. Story, I'm all over the
yeah,
place.
same,
I feel
same.
And then
but my feed, I just feel like I want to stay relevant, and it's kind of subconscious. Like it's like if I post something from 3 weeks ago, I was a little bit more lean then. I don't want people to think it's.
Oh, I see. Okay, I was wondering where you're going to go with that. I was waiting for you to finish because what I do, my mind jumped real quick to was I'll go through Instagram or Facebook or I'm doing something and I take pictures. We're out doing things, taking pictures. And I save those pictures to when I'm inspired to write something with it and post it.
Yeah.
Right?
So I've done that or I'll have the intent to do that, but then I don't get around to it. I'll do the same thing with like my notepad and my phone. It's full, right? Because when I'm walking and I listen to a lot of podcasts when I walk or Audible, but I'm not just mindlessly listening. Like I'm listening with intent to learn and then teach, right? That's something, I think that was a Jim Quick podcast. When we're listening or reading, we should be listening with intent to learn and then reteach that information.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that.
So,
but reading, though, and listening, you got to have what I call the bubblegum read, though. You ever hear that, Frank?
No.
To where it's just, so, you'll love this. My bubblegum listening, Audible, there's life before and after Audible.
Yeah.
Audible's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, you've sent me a good few titles there.
Yeah. Audible's great. I listen to these post-apocalyptic zombie books.
Okay.
And they're my bubblegum read.
Yeah. Well, that's your mindless, enjoyable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's kind of like what people think like TV. Like we don't watch a lot of TV.
I don't own a TV.
What?
I don't.
Do you watch stuff like on your laptop?
No. Then? Okay. So I watched a movie last night for the first time in like months. Like I don't.
What'd you watch? So all this time, wait a minute, hold on. All this time you haven't watched any movies or TV, and what do you end up watching?
It's good. It's not even like a great one.
She's like, I don't want to answer it. Hold on, do I have a different answer?
No, this is it. It was called Someone Great. You saw that video. It's not that, it wasn't that, it was a good movie. Like I laughed, but, it's called Someone Great. And the reason I watched it is because, there was this, I just stuttered, clip on Instagram. It was that song that I posted. My boss and I ended up singing it when we were.
The car
so
karaoke
I got that.
Whatever.
Yeah, but I got that song from a clip that someone sent me on Instagram, which was like hysterical. And when I posted us singing it, I got 3 people tell me like, "You got to watch the movie that came from." So I was like, "All right." And then last night when I was trying to decompress a little from all of these trips and before this next one, I was like, I could watch a movie.
What'd you watch it on?
My laptop.
Laptop.
Yeah, it was Netflix, which I don't even have. I had to borrow from somebody, because I don't watch.
You get somebody's code from Netflix. Yeah. We have my family and my wife's family use our Netflix account.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. There's no sense in me having Netflix. I wouldn't use it. So
there's $13 a month that you don't.
There you go.
That no need to spend. Mm-mm. So speaking of posting, what's your thoughts on when you see, like I see somebody's post and I see you do it, like you repost, like I'll take a screenshot of somebody's post.
Yeah, on like stories. On
their stories or even on their post, and it'll have some quote. I'm a big believer too that what you're saying has already been said. It might just be spun around a little different. Yeah. You're not saying anything new. You're never saying anything new.
Yeah. Right? No one here is reinventing any wheels.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is too, if you do put your own little spin on it, it might resonate with somebody
differently.
Differently.
It's just that's bigger picture. Same reason all these fitness accounts out there, right? I'm not even a fitness account. I kind of look that way if you look at it that way, but I didn't go out here and I'm not Brittany Landers Fitness. Like I didn't mean to be a fitness account.
That's what you enjoy and what you like doing, and that's what you post.
Exactly.
And I don't see you posting like
workout
selfie in the mirror with your butt near, and,
no.
and no. I'm like,
It's not my
I don't know.
jam.
Yeah, but I respect that. I respect that.
Yeah, that's not my jam.
Yeah,
I had a few people. I've had 2 people actually. They're like, "You would have so many more followers." I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I don't. Even, I never even look at followers, man.
Exactly.
I just do
don't
what
care.
I do, and if they follow along, great.
Yeah.
You know, if they don't,
Exactly.
How many? I mean, using the word haters, I'm not a fan of the word haters, but
Yeah.
do you get people talking shit to you on Instagram about some of your stuff?
So not really. I'm also not a fan of the word haters because one, I don't even think it's like a thing. I've had 2 instances that I can think of particularly that didn't sit well with me. Like one time, and this is relatively recently, and it was really strange to me because I can never imagine doing this to someone else. But someone DM'd me off of one of my stories, and this is someone who I know. Like we've been in rooms together multiple times, but like I never liked this person, right? And I've always been authentic. I'm much more authentic now. Like I'm like black and white, but I've always been. So
people know where they stand.
Yeah, but most people stand, high. They got high ground because
I wouldn't be hanging out with you if you didn't.
Exactly. Like I hold people in their best light. Like I do. There's a quote that really, really resonates with me lately. Is like, you can't hate anyone if you know who they are. You can't because you know their story. Like everyone is a certain way because of
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like that, there's that other quote out there. Don't judge somebody because you don't know their story.
Exactly. Well, that's
right. You don't know what they're going through.
That's
Everybody's going through their own shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I really feel that way, and that's kind of how I operate. Like I hold everybody in the most positive light that I can.
Until you fuck me
right.
over.
So that being said, I don't have a lot of people that I dislike, and it's like a clean, easy slate, right? Well, that being said, I'm pretty easygoing, and I don't really cross people intentionally. If I do, sorry for you, like whatever.
Well, but the thing is, if you're not doing it intentionally, that's on them, man.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
something going in their life.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's how I get this DM, and it's a story. I'm like playing with my dog. Like it was like I've posted a few times where I'm like dancing in the kitchen with Misty.
Yeah.
And
Misty's your dog.
Misty's my dog, and this person goes, I hope you slip a disc in your back. Okay.
So they take the time to DM that.
They're like violent, not like.
Are you bullet points or?
No, it was.
Oh,
I hope you slip a disc in your back. Someone like you needs to get hurt. And he just like went at it, and I was like, what the fuck? I read it, and I was like, that man is crazy, and I blocked him. I didn't answer him. I didn't expend any energy. I just read it, and I was like, holy
speaking
cow.
of quotes, you see that quote where if you have like 68, it's so many seconds in a day, right?
Right.
And the quote converts that to money.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
You've seen that to where they say
if you spend your time, yeah.
If somebody takes $10 away from you, how much time are you going to spend trying to get that $10 back? So what you just demonstrated that you're like, block, moving on.
Yeah, which I wouldn't have always done that. Like I used to care a lot more about what people thought or what people said. Yeah. And like, that was mean. Like that's like down and out. Like something's wrong with him. Right.
Yeah.
But that's my new filter is like, that's him. Like it isn't me. Like I didn't do anything to deserve that. So but I did. I deleted it and then I blocked him and then I went on Facebook. I blocked him there. I just I was like, no way. This person can't, I don't want them to know what's going on in my life.
Right.
Like
sure.
That was kind of evil and just out. And I haven't heard from him since, obviously, because he can't contact me. But like
trolling, huh?
Yeah. So like that was an experience and I haven't had another like it, but that kind of, it took me back a little bit. I was like, I can't believe someone would say that.
Yeah. And two, with this podcast, at this time I have like 100 followers. I just started the damn thing.
Yeah.
And I had a guy over here. He had testicular cancer. Funny dude. Him and I been buddies for a long time. And our banter back and forth is like XXX rated. Yeah. I mean, we just there's not a clean word between us when we're talking.
That's
right?
okay.
Yeah. And that's just how we are, right? And we're good friends, and I'd do anything for the guy. And our wooden rooster over there, see him over there?
Oh yeah,
on the shelf.
Yeah.
Took a picture of him in the seat. You're sitting in your seat. he put him on his lap, and he had sunglasses on.
Yeah.
And it was a fun picture. And somebody made a comment like, yeah, real professional, or, it's just like, well, if you don't like it, it's fucking move
Yeah, and
on,
also,
dude.
does it say professional in my bio?
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
What?
Nowhere in any of this information it says professional. But I don't know. I just
No,
and I
people
can't
always have
see-
something to say. They always have something to say. So, I mean, I don't even qualify them as haters. The way I look at this stuff is like, if they have so much time and they can give their energy to
Doing
wishing you,
harm.
yeah, then like, God, that sucks for them. Like their life sucks.
Yeah, there's some.
So I'm going to keep on. I'm going to keep doing what
Yeah.
I'm doing. And hopefully they can keep on too, and they can get better. Like they got something to heal.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it now.
You see that in my stories? I think I posted it. One of my little quotes: "Keep on, keep it on."
Yeah.
Keep,
Yeah. It's like Finding Nemo, just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Yeah.
Do.
Yeah.
The reason I was bringing that stuff up is, especially in the fitness world, I believe people are extremely judgmental.
Yeah.
So that's why I was wondering how.
Yeah. Well, they're
people are
pretty
banging on your door about
cutthroat.
that.
The other thing is too that I've kind of experienced, just because I'm not a personal trainer, I'm not formally educated in this world. This
Right.
is just something I like to do. I'm pretty good at it. It's something that is in me. Like I couldn't shake it if I tried,
Yeah.
And
Well, we just had a killer workout, and
Yeah.
you weren't afraid of anything. You're like,
Yeah.
put more weight on.
no, and that's the thing too. Like there were a couple times I'll do that. Like I'll walk up to a weight that I'm like pretty sure I'd still get a good workout with it, and I go, nah, I can do more. And that's just how my
One
brain
more.
works. Yeah, I can't not do that.
Well, that probably goes over in business and personal life and
Yeah.
everything, not just the gym.
Yeah.
Is that, so many sayings go the way you are, I feel, the way you are
you
in
do
the gym.
one thing,
Yeah.
yep.
And I shorten that up and I apply it to the gym. The way you do it in the gym is the way you do everything in life.
Yeah.
If you half-ass the gym, that means you're half-assing everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a quote too, and I'm going to misquote it, but it's about laying a brick down. It's like if you go in there and you have a half-ass workout, like you're not laying a brick down, but somebody else is.
Somebody else is. I like that. If you're not in the gym, somebody else is.
Yeah.
I like that one.
And they're going to get ahead of you.
Yeah, exactly. Who was it? Dorian Yates?
Yeah.
That dude's a fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think he had
That's
a
it.
big. I think he had a big quote about putting bricks down. Mm-hmm. Is that where you
That
got
was
that?
him.
Is that
Yeah.
what? Okay.
Yeah.
I like that guy. He just
Monster.
hard worker.
Yeah.
Ooh, and then you see pictures of him from back in the day, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, those guys are monsters.
So, do you have any goals, like specific goals? I get asked all the time, like, why do I work out so much?
In fitness. So, all right. So I just did this program, and we could talk about that too, which is not a fitness program, but it does have a fitness element. I just completed 75 hard, and I know you're aware of it. So I was on one of my last.
Well, we got to tell a lot of people listening aren't going to know what that is.
Right. So we'll go through it. But to answer this question first, I was doing one of the elements of this program, and it's an outdoor workout. And it was right before I left for my trip this past week. So I was really, really tight on time, which is fine because the outdoor workout's only 45 minutes anyway. But I walked a little too far. That would have made it longer than 45 minutes. And I only had time for 45 minutes. So I look at my clock. I go, I got to run. I don't run. I don't run at all.
You made that clear today after our workout.
Yeah.
You're like, I was like, let's run. You're like,
Yeah, let's do a really hard circuit instead. No, I don't run. And I looked at it. I go, well, I gotta. So I ran, and I really ran. It was like a 6 minute and 29-second mile.
God damn.
And I don't run. So I got home and I was like, first off, I was lit up. So it was like one of those, like you take a shower, you're still sweating after because
you can't cool down that quick.
It was kind of dumb. But so I busted my ass, and I'm sitting, I have a neighbor downstairs. I live in a house. He's on the lower level. I'm on the upper level, and him and his brother was visiting. I've never met this man in my life, and he's like 70 years old, the brother. And here I come, like guns a-blazing up our hill running. And this is the end of my mile. This is the end of my workout. So I'm like hustling. I don't do anything half-assed, right? So I'm like, they could probably hear me coming. Yeah. And so then I go up and I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. You know, I'm out of breath. I haven't met this guy yet. So it's the brother. So he's like, what are you training for? Are you a runner? I'm like, nah, I don't run at all. And he's like, well, what are you training for? I was life. Like, I don't have an answer for you. Yeah. I am just doing this because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I like to do. This is what's going to get me where I want to be. So I do it.
Yeah, and I think, too, and it'll 75 hard will go back, obviously, what it was. It's mental.
It's so mental.
Like, how many times you're like, fuck,
that's why I could run. Why it's not because of the physical stuff I've been doing, because regardless of my physical state, I would never just go run fast. And
and nothing chasing you.
No. But the thing is with mental is you do think of it that way. Like we actually said that in the gym today. Like, and that's the way I train is like, can I get this rep? If I don't, I'm going to die. Like it sounds so dramatic, but you put yourself to those extremes when you're training and you win.
Well, I was trained martial arts for a long time.
Yeah?
And,
which
Kenpo.
Okay, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, Ed Parker style. It was a good time. That's a whole other story. But we had a saying that the more you train and the more you sweat in training, the less you bleed in battle.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
That's good. That's on my notes.
We're gonna have to exchange that one because I want to.
Yeah. And the other one I like is we had shirts with our dojo on it, and it was like a super small dojo, and my trainer only let a certain people in if you're dedicated. Right. Like to hold a black belt, you had to have be CPR certified, know your stuff, obviously.
Yeah. Certain number of hours or anything?
Well, volunteer outside, like quote unquote soup kitchen. You know, it could be anything.
Right.
X amount of hours a month, and then you had to teach X amount of hours a month. And twice a year, you had to write a 12-page thesis.
Oh. I mean, it shows, that dedication.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't want anybody around here that doesn't want to be here. Right?
Yeah.
And then if you came in and said, I want to have a class, I'd be like, okay, and I'd talk to you for a few minutes. We'd set up a class. Your first class is 30 minutes long, right? So for the first 15 minutes, we go through a few things, and I just see kind of how athletic you are. And the last 15 minutes, we gear up and we spar.
We did, and not to, I did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu a couple times, and that was my first class. They were just like seeing if I was an athlete, and then we were on the mats. Yeah.
And when we gear up, the first thing I do is hit you really hard.
See how you take it?
Yeah, see how you take it. Because you're not Bruce Lee, man. You're going to get hit. It's going to hurt.
Yeah.
You know, you're not here to act like that and kick everybody's ass and think you're all big and bad.
No, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But the other thing that we had on our shirts was fear none, respect all.
I like that.
I like that one a lot. But so those two quotes, I'll be putting some stuff out on it. And
cool.
Feel free to steal it.
Yeah, I will. I'll tag you.
Say, hey, this guy wrote this. But 75 Hard was through First Form, Andy Frisella, which we both are a fan of.
Yeah.
And this is a non-paid ad.
Yeah, big fan. Anybody listening to your podcast would definitely benefit from his.
Same type of thing, right?
Yeah.
I've been listening to him well, you know how I found him? How'd you find him?
A friend told me about him, like probably a little over a year ago. I knew about First Form and all that stuff. I knew who he was, but I wasn't listening to MF CEO. Okay. Now it's like I listen religiously, like, you know.
Yeah, that's same here. Every time it comes up,
exactly.
I get a little notification through Stitcher, and I listen to it.
Yep.
But I was using First Form, and then working out at the gym, I ended up getting YouTube Premiere, right?
Okay.
So this is a non-paid ad either, but this is fucking amazing. Best $10 I could ever spend. Because you know how you search on YouTube on your phone?
Yeah.
But then if you shut your screen off,
it goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you send me these baller YouTube things to listen to during cardio, and I'm like, gotta keep it open because I don't have Premiere.
Yeah, so Premiere, you can shut your phone off, and you can slide it, like on my Samsung, you can slide it and it becomes a little window, and you can use your phone like searching or doing other things.
Right.
So, but then it also opens up your search engine. It gives you more options. So like if you open your phone and search for a certain topic, and I open mine and I'm going to get different results, right?
Okay.
So to me, it's well worth $10 a month. Love
Right.
it. So they have these YouTube mixes like Machiavelli motivation and
I
all
love
those, right?
Yeah,
so
they're great.
a couple years ago, almost 3 years ago now, 3 years ago, this guy's, because if you listen to them, they're fucking screaming, and then there's some music and some screaming. And this one guy, I'm like, man, I like this guy. I wonder what's up with this. Who's this guy, man? It's just his voice, and I just like his energy, and he's like, just fucking
and he's no bullshit.
Yeah, just fucking do it. Don't, stop fucking making excuses.
Get out of here.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So I'm like, yeah, this is my style. So in the notes, it usually tells who the speakers are. Some don't, some do, And it says Andy Frisell, and I'm like, all right, let me search him, see if I can find more of the same thing. First thing that popped up was MFCEO.
Yeah.
And at that time, I think
It was still pretty new.
He only had like 100 up, not even, no, he had like 20 or 23 episodes or something at that time. So he's pretty new. And not too long ago, I went back and listened to some of the first ones. Whew, man, what a difference.
Different game.
Yeah. Which is great. It still has its impact, But all right, so that's
He's even said he leaves them up so that you can see the difference.
Yeah, I got that idea from him on this as well, because some of these first ones on here are horrible.
Well,
the audio's bad.
That's all part of it.
That's part of it.
It's
absolutely.
and that's part of anything is like the growth and to be able to witness the growth. So again, taking it all the way back to the beginning is why is Instagram set up? Like, why do I do my account the way that I do? Is you can see my growth. And sometimes, like, I'll go back and post transformation pictures specifically to show the people who don't know me in person, and know where I came from.
Following you and
right.
stuff
And they
like
think
that.
it just comes easy and they think it's just something I do. It's like, hell no. Like, I've been really tiny. I've been overweight. Like, I have been all of that because I had Lyme's disease. I had 2 other, like you have all this stuff. You lose everything. You lose all your muscle mass. You can't get up. I've had that, right? So it's like, but you wouldn't know that if you just saw me in the gym today.
You're like, must be nice to be able to do that.
Right. So it's like, and I know some people have it worse, but that doesn't, that's something I've learned this year is it doesn't discount where you've been. Right. So like there's always, and I put out a video about this too, is like, there's this shame that comes with wanting better and more and expecting more of yourself in your life. There's a shame because people are like you got a good life. Like, what's wrong with it? Like, it's fine. Yeah. So you have this shame. It's societal. But like, fuck that. That's how I feel,
well, I agree with that.
Like, you're not living my life. I am. So therefore I'm going to get what I want. Yeah. And I'm working for it. So that's how it goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I get people, they're like, I haven't seen in a while. We went to an event on Friday. I haven't seen this guy in quite a while. He's like, damn, dude, you've lost some weight and you're all thick. And, and I go, I didn't lose it. I know where the fuck it went. Because I worked hard to get rid of it.
Yeah.
It just didn't, I joke with him like that. It didn't
fall off.
And he's like, where do you get, he's like, you're all thick. And I said, yeah. He goes, what have you been doing? I said, I drink milk and do a few push-ups, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, seriously,
I mean,
ask a
even with
question,
supplements, that's even something like people are like, well, what do you take? What do you take? And I'm like, I will tell you what I take. But 1, we're doing things differently. And 2, like, what I take helps me, but that's not what gets me where I'm going.
No,
like, there's so many other elements that you need to put into play in order for the supplements to do their job. Like, you have got to work, and that's what people.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
it's just work.
Yeah.
And on my personal Instagram, in the header, it says that stop looking for the fucking shortcut and just do the work.
Yeah.
If by the time you tried to figure out a shortcut and do all this other shit, if you just put in the work during that time, you'd be that much farther ahead.
Yep.
But everybody's looking for a pill or
Yep.
a certain amount of, how many push-ups do you do? Just fucking do them.
Yeah, just do it.
And then going back to this.
Till you fail.
Yeah, and going back to this podcast, people are like, why'd you start it? Or what made you start it and this kind of thing? And what'd you do to start it? I said, I got on Amazon and bought a kit. And when it came, I plugged it in my computer and started talking into this fucking microphone. And that was it. And then I was like, looked at my buddies and went, hey, man, you want to come over and talk to me? And they're like, oh, sure. Yeah, okay. You know?
Yeah.
And then most people, when they're done, they're like, man, that was a lot of fun. Because,
Yeah.
you know, it drums up stuff. And there's some crazy stories that come up. And
Yeah. And it's cool to reflect. Everyone just, we kind of do our day to day, and you don't always think back on what you did last week that got you here, you know?
Yeah.
So it is cool.
Yeah. Well, going back to, so I find MFCEO, Andy Frisilla. By that time, I was already using First Form because I was looking for a protein that just, because obviously, you know, the cheaper proteins that you get like from Walgreens, and I'm not knocking them, but they're cheaper, you know, and you get what you pay for.
There's a reason. Yeah.
There's a reason they're that cheap.
Definitely.
And sitting in the bathroom is not the reason I want to have that kind of protein.
Yeah, quality of life.
Yeah, and I can't remember how I ended up.
I started with greens. A lot of people start with greens. You started with protein?
Protein, and I don't know. I can't remember how I ended up. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
You know, and I was using it for quite a while because if you listen to Andy's
He
first,
doesn't really talk about it.
he doesn't talk about it, right? So I didn't put the two together until later in his podcast. He brings up First Form. I'm like, wait a minute. That's the fucking tube of shit that I have on top of my refrigerator. Mm-hmm. And then he hit up greens because he was just bringing those out. I love them motherfuckers.
They're amazing. I'm like, we're not trying to plug it.
I'm not, yeah.
But
I wouldn't plug it. And the thing that kills me is there's some people out there that are like, it does this for you, it does this. Motherfucker, you know what it does? Exactly what it says on the label.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just my insides are fucking amazing.
I don't know a single person who takes them that wouldn't talk about them this way.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of
I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
And not all, you know, people with First Form. Like these are people that have tried a billion other things, and I mean, they're incredible. But I don't want to sit here and plug it, but they are
and
game changer.
I know he's big on customer service, which I'm huge on.
Yep.
And I've had to call him a handful of times. Done.
They're amazing.
Done,
so I
right?
got the wrong size in something like 3 weeks ago on the release. It's like a gear release, and I happened to be talking to somebody else, like DMing them on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, I'm so excited. Like, I love it. It fits pretty well. I feel like I could have gone a size up.
They're like, send it back.
And she goes, hold on. She was there. First off, it was 7 p.m. And for them, so they're 1 hour, so we 6 p.m., but still not like normal work hours. She's like, I'm here right now. She went to the warehouse. She does not work. She's not in customer service. She's not in the warehouse. This is not her place. She works at headquarters. She goes to the warehouse, gets my size, puts it on her desk. She goes, email this guy in customer service. Tell him that
Jordan.
She has it.
What's his name? Jordan? No.
Yeah. It starts with a J. I want to say it's Jordan.
One time I call him, I go, dude, do you ever fucking go home? Or is this just...
I'd be convinced that if he slept there, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and I go, hey, dude, do you ever leave, or is this just one of those things that you're all named Jordan, and
right.
you know, and there's like 5 of you, and he's like, no, and you could tell he was fucking beat, and he's like, no, dude, it's me. What do you need?
Yeah.
But he was cool about it. You know?
They're awesome. But that's what she did. She put it on her desk,
That's cool.
And then my email to him was like, oh yeah, she told me it's on her desk. I got it. So then I got all this stuff that went through someone. You know, like that's not even their job, but they'll
Right.
do that for you.
Right.
Like I'm not anybody special, you know, and they'll do that for me. Like that's incredible.
Yeah,
So.
and going back to inspiring people, you know, that he's just setting an example.
Yeah.
And if like you read my
And a standard.
and a standard.
Yeah.
And if you read like my cover letter for my resume and stuff, it's like lead
from the front.
lead from examples, not a way. It's the only way. And I think
Yeah.
it was like some football guy said it. But and that's what they do. And sometimes I'm like they'll do something. I'm like, see, I need to incorporate something like that in my business.
Yeah.
You know, obviously not exactly that, but look how they do that.
Yeah.
I need to do that. So, I appreciate that. The product's great,
Yeah.
And then one more thing on the product was I've always been a pre-workout guy because, like, I don't drink coffee or
Yeah.
anything like that. And I was jumping around with pre-workouts because some of them are fucking brutal.
They're
I mean,
brutal.
they
Some of
make
them
your
have some crazy stuff in them too.
Yeah, it makes your insides just come out. But so I got a real good buddy of mine that he's a chemist major. So I was looking up on First Form, and I get a picture of the ingredients, and I send it to him, and he's like, "That's a good fuck," and it was a
Megawatt.
Yeah, yeah.
Megawatt V2.
yeah, and he's like, "That's a good stack." And then I jumped from that to this brand Legion Pulse. You'll have to let me know how you like that.
Yeah, I'll try
I like
it
that
out.
a lot. And I did the same with him, or with that brand. I sent it to him. He's like, "No, you're good there.
Yeah.
What's in it." And just to kind of like test them, my brother bought some off Amazon. He's like, "Dude, you got to try this." I'm like, So I got some ingredients. I sent him my buddy. He's like, I'd probably stay away from that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Not
And it's
today.
like half the price of Legion or First
Yeah.
Form. And it's like, that's it, man. I would rather pay
You're
a
paying
little
for the
extra.
quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was just funny how, I guess the reason I was telling you all that is I was using that product and doing all that long
Without
before
realizing
who it was.
Yeah.
And I was using it before I knew who it was.
Yeah.
So it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But and you're going down there. That's just
Yeah,
you just
I'm
told me
psyched.
you're going to. It's a summer
It's
smash.
Summer Smash, and it's
Is it like a customer appreciation thing? Just tell people who.
so it's basically their largest event of the year. They've been doing it for a few, and like if you go back and you look at pictures and videos, it's like just everyone is just so.
It's a big fucking party.
Yeah,
right?
it's a party, but it's productive, and like you're around like-minded individuals, so you leave and you're amped up and you want to do things, you know,
yeah,
like
of course,
that's
yeah.
and that's what I can't wait for. Of course I'm excited for all the fun like partying, but it's like I'm just so excited to be surrounded by people like me. Like so Summer Smash, it's everyone from headquarters will be there. All of the elite athletes fly in for it. And then Legionnaires, which I'm a Legionnaire.
Now, what does that consist of? Like, what do they ask for you to do that, or how do you become that, or
So it's different.
what's involved? I guess.
All right. So it's different than, just repping a supplement elsewhere, which is kind of why I was attracted to it, because if you start lifting and you put a couple things up on Instagram, people are going to ask you to rep their brand. If you look good
Of course, yeah.
they're going to ask you. And you don't even have to use their stuff and they'll ask you. And I hate that. That's not authentic.
Right.
Well, with First Form, you have to go through like a little interview process. So you apply for it. They call you. You literally have this interview. Before they get you on the phone, they're like stalking your social.
Oh yeah, they're totally. I can
And
imagine.
they make you aware of it,
They're
right?
like, just so you know, we're going to spend the next 2 days stalking
Exactly.
you. Kind of thing.
Or they'll like they're looking at your stories. You can see them you come up. So they all have like their name and then First Form HQ. And all of a sudden, all your stories are like lit up with 7 people from HQ. Like they do their research. They don't want
that's
just
cool.
anybody out
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
right? So and what they're looking for is that you're a good human, right? They aren't looking for your fitness level, right? They literally go,
He's got to be a cool dude.
"You a good human?
Yeah.
Do you do community service?" Like they check those boxes.
Right.
You don't have to be an athlete. The whole thing behind First Form is like you don't have to be an elite athlete at all. Like we want the everyday person.
Right.
Because those are the people that need help the
Yeah,
most.
yeah, wow, that's
And that's First Form's mission is to help those people, like they aren't gonna, that's why we're trained. Like we go through online training, like it's nonstop. We have a lot that we have to do to stay on top of things. Like we aren't given a code and you put the code in your bio and then you get this commission. That's not how it works.
Right.
It's not. You have to do this online, it's virtual training, like you go through a bunch of stuff. So
Is there some kind of compensation for that?
yeah, but it is what you make it. So like you're not just gonna walk away with, you're not just gonna walk just because you say like I'm a Legionnaire. Like I know some Legionnaires who don't
do anything.
It shows.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
some Legionnaires who help a lot of people, and then it shows, If you're helping a bunch of people, then...
Well, it sounds like you're doing that already, so you might as well...
Well, that's kind of what... Exactly. So I started taking greens, and that's how I found first. So I found First Form well before I found Andy as MF CEO.
Yeah.
And I connected the dots really quickly once I knew who Andy was.
Right.
But just because I'd already been using First Form. And the reason I found First Form was through a few athletes that I'd followed for years. And these were athletes that really cared about what they put in their body.
Yeah.
And I knew that because I followed them for years, right? So I knew how they interacted with everything in their daily life. And I was like, okay, if she's going to take this, it's got to be good. And so I started taking it. And that was just the greens at that point. And I felt great. And then I was like, well, if this is great, then everything else has to be great too.
Yeah.
And I started taking Formula One and Ignition. That's the post-workout stack. That's what changed the game for me. That's when
Really?
people...
I've never taken a post-workout stack.
Oh my
Never.
God. Like, you asked me today if I wanted a shake after the gym. No way do I want anything but what I take. It's like... I can't describe. That's when people started coming up to me at the gym and saying like they needed help with things or like how. That's when.
So what does that?
So
what's it do for you then?
All right. So face value.
And well, real quick, and somebody at any fitness level can do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you should. So bro science is we're told we take protein after a workout. Everybody knows you got to take protein, have a protein shake, blah blah blah. Bro science. But that's that's what everybody knows, and you're not doing anything wrong if that's it. But you could be doing it better. So what I learned, and I learned this in October, is that when you're working out, right, you're wrecking yourself, but your energy store, you're depleting it. That's your glycogen level. And you're breaking down your muscle. You're literally tearing it, right? So the protein is there to build back that muscle, to repair it.
Right.
But what are you doing to, recover your energy that you lost? What are you doing? You're not doing anything. You're drinking your protein. So your body, order of operations, take it back to, I don't know, what is that, middle school math, PEMDAS? I don't even know. Order of operations is... You have to restore your energy, then your body will start to repair your muscle.
Oh, okay.
So
well,
if you're
reverse engineer, right?
Yeah. So if you're just drinking protein, your body's turning some of that into glucose to restore those levels. So instead of making your body do that, you take this stack, right? It's Formula One. That's protein broken down as fast or as small as it can be so that it can be absorbed as fast as possible. That's Formula One. And then Ignition is a monosaccharide carbohydrate. So same idea, but a carb. So it's your carb source. When you take them together, and the Ignition doesn't taste like anything, so it goes with all the flavors, So you take them together.
You throw that like in a shake?
Yep.
Okay.
And every day. So Ignition will restore those glycogen levels. Simultaneously, you're repairing your muscle that you broke down. So you're turning around that recovery process right away. And holy cow, it makes a difference. I mean, it makes a huge difference. Like, I train hard. Like, I know that I do that, and I can go back into the gym the next day and I'm really not that sore. And I wasn't ever like that before. But it's because you're restoring your energy levels. You're repairing
it makes total
faster.
sense. Yeah. I don't know. I never took it to that level, I guess.
Yeah, well, neither did I, because we're not taught that, The only reason I learned that is because I started going through, because that's the thing is, First Form won't let you talk. Yeah, they won't let you talk about their brand unless you know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So you have to go through these training programs. So I'm like learning. You're in science class,
Yeah.
so I'm learning that, and I was like, holy shit, all these years I've just been having protein.
Yeah.
And the game changed. Yeah.
How long do you take that? So you told me earlier that you work out later in the evening. Mm-hmm. So if you take that at night, just going with the name Ignition.
Yeah.
I know it means
so
something.
It's a little misleading, the name, but so it's not like.
Can you take that at night and go to bed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I do take it at night usually, because I'll train till like 10 p.m. By the time I get home, it's like 10:30. Then I make a shake. I do it a little differently than most people. Like today, we trained in the middle of the day, so I had just Formula One and Ignition driving over. to come record this. But if I had trained at home,
I had leftover steak from last night.
Yeah.
And 4 scrambled eggs.
Before. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what did I had? I had two.
Oh, and a little pre-workout.
2 waffles. I had 2 waffles, 8 ounces of egg whites, and an egg. And that
was my pre-workout.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Waffles and eggs.
Yeah. Well, I say that because people listen in, or people have that thing that's like, you have 17 tubs of stuff on top of your refrigerator and that's all you eat. No. I mean, we have real food. Yeah. And I prefer real food.
Yes.
What's really nice is like my standard breakfast is a protein shake. But I put avocado and
and that's what I was going to say. Even at night, because it's my last meal. Cinnamon is good.
Do you know why you put cinnamon in it?
Why?
Inflation.
I could use that. I just ordered joint mobility.
It's probably just cinnamon. But if you like every morning, I put a couple shakes of cinnamon in my shake.
Yeah.
And it's crazy what it does for.
All right, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
And I'll say that too. And even First Form would say that is it's always whole food first. Except for post-workout, because post-workout is when you're trying to turn it around. Exactly. Yeah. So any other time, if you can get whole food, hell yeah, please do.
Do you do a lot of meal prep?
So yes and no. I do blended. I've gone through all the stages where I meal prep. I put everything in its own container. I grab it out of the fridge, whatever. Right now, I work primarily remotely, so I'm home a lot more. So what's working for me right now is I'll cook things in bulk, similar to how I would, but instead of portioning them out ahead of time, is I take them, because I follow macros, right? I count my macros now, so I'll take them and weigh out whatever ounces I'm eating for that meal. It's not always the same. It's usually pretty similar, between like 3 and 6 ounces of protein, etc. But I'll have them in like bulk containers in my fridge, and that's how I do that. But I do,
because you're at home, right?
Yeah.
So I normally follow very roughly, almost a Weight Watchers idea of food. Mm-hmm. So when I do my meal prep, it's, okay, that's X amount of points, that's X amount of points, that's X amount of points. Okay, I weigh this, I do this, this is my exercise level. And I have these little bento boxes that I fill up with food.
Yep.
And that's what I eat for the day. That's what you can have for the day.
Yeah.
I have my shake.
And when you're prepared, it makes life so much.
Oh, my God.
So much easier.
Not like, okay, we're going to run out and grab something.
Yeah,
and
no.
Then it's crap food.
Yeah, you set yourself up for failure that way.
Yeah. Going way back now, toward the beginning of the podcast, 75 Hard. Yeah. Again, that was something that First Form put out.
Yeah, Andy put that out. Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. I got to 40 days.
Did you?
Yeah, I think it was 40 days.
That's even further than I thought.
Yeah, because I was doing the little calendar thing.
Right.
And each day was.
I didn't do the calendar. I think I did that calendar twice.
Oh, I put a little emoji on how I felt that day.
Yeah, that
so
was
it was kind of fun to. It was kind of fun to look back at it.
Yeah.
But where I crashed was I gave into one night. The wife and I were crashed out on the couch, and she made this incredible dinner and had ice cream and all that shit. So, but
I mean, it happens. Yeah. I have to say, right now I'm on my own, so it definitely helps.
We got the dog.
That I don't. Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't have another human saying, "Let's go get ice cream today. Let's go do this. Let's go do this." I mean, I have people asking me to go out and stuff, but it's easier for me to say no, because I don't have. No one's living with me.
Yeah. Right,
so it is a little bit different. So I was grateful for that. It was less, and not to say that people are always distractions, but it was less.
Distraction.
Yeah.
It's a distraction. I mean, my wife is incredibly supportive of anything I do. And when I told her I was going to do that, she's like, okay, sure. I'll help the way I can. And she helped with food. And like, we go into the city every Monday night for an event. And what I was doing was coming home from work and walking toward the city.
Ooh, and she came
And
and
she'd
pick you
come
up.
pick me up on the way to the city. So
What?
that was my
Yeah, you're
outside
outdoor.
walk. So going back to that 75 hard was 75 days in a row.
Yeah.
Two workouts a day.
2 workouts a day.
45 minutes. One has to be outside.
And no matter the elements, people would ask me, in the rain, in the snow?
yeah.
Like, yeah, that's the
no
point.
That was the point.
Yeah.
Gallon of water and no cheat meals.
No cheat meals.
That's where I crashed, was the cheat meal.
Yeah.
That's where I crashed.
And it's no, so it's follow your diet plan, whatever that may be. I follow macros, right?
Right.
And most people's diet plan doesn't have alcohol in it. So then that's just like an obvious, like, don't drink.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And then the other thing, one of my
reading.
hardest, the reading.
Oh, I enjoyed the shit out of that. See,
no, that was good. No, my hardest was taking the picture. So when I went to my home gym, I would take a picture, no problem, because it's just like I walk in, I put my headphones down, I take a picture. It's normal, but I'm bouncing around all these different gyms.
Yeah.
So if I didn't take them, that's when I like, holy shit, it's like 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. And you're like trying to get a similar pose. But that was sometimes the hardest thing for me. I wrote about it in a recent post. Actually, a reflection on my 75 hard. Yeah. But there were nights where I can't, like I keep long days. Like I'll wake up early, I go to bed late, and I really do a good job of maximizing my time. I've gotten a lot better at it during 75 hard. But
with no
there's
TV.
still, yeah, exactly. I have someone house sitting for me. I tell her, I'm like, oh shit. I never thought anything of this, but like, I don't have a TV.
You might want to bring your computer to watch it.
Exactly. She's like, no, it's fine. I watch Netflix on my laptop. So I'm like, all right, if you're cool with it, I'm cool with it. We're good. But I do a pretty good job at making good use of my time. There's pockets, of course.
You can't be a fucking 9 all day.
Yeah.
You can't.
I try. It doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't always.
no.
The whole try.
But the thing is, take 10 minutes and be like,
yeah.
all right, I'm just going to sit here for fucking 10 minutes.
Well,
Right,
even that, it helps you be proactive rather than reactive, right? And then you're more efficient.
Yeah.
So, but there were a couple days, there probably 15 or 20 of them that I ran pretty empty, and I'm like, I am exhausted. I still have to read. There's no way I'm gonna read and not fall asleep. Like I knew it. There was not. I can drink coffee and go to bed. Like there's,
I'm the same way.
There was nothing I could do. I could nothing. So I would sit in this chair. I had this really uncomfortable chair at my house, and it has like one of those massage. I have one of those. It has a massage thing. But it's not comfortable to sit on because it's like they're like kneading things in your back. So you're like sitting straight upright and it
forces yourself.
It's not fun. It's not comfortable. It hurts. So I would sit there. And that goes back to like, no one's watching me do this. No one is making me do this.
Well, that's the best part though.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. I
like
go,
that part.
I'm like, all right, here I go. I go sit in this terrible chair. Right upright, and I get my book out and I read. And some of the nights I would fall asleep and I'd wake up and my neck hurts and everything's like that. And I'm like, holy shit. And I look at the time, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah,
I finished
not
reading.
midnight yet.
I finished reading and then I go to bed. But like that, you did what it took, if you knew you were going to fail because you went and got comfortable, you don't get comfortable. Yeah. So that was it. It was 2 indoor workouts, follow your meal plan. Read 10 pages of an entrepreneurial or entrepreneurship or self-development book a night or day. Drink a gallon of water.
It was 2 workouts, 1 out has to be outside. You said 2 indoor workouts.
Oh, well, I didn't. You know what I meant.
Yeah,
but to clarify for the people, indoor, outdoor.
So one of my hacks for the outdoor workout.
Yeah.
So you can see where I live. I live in a neighborhood and stuff. I would go out my door. Mm-hmm. And set my timer for 23 minutes.
So you knew when to turn around?
And I'd fucking just start hauling ass. And my timer would go off. And I'd turn around, come straight back. 46 minutes.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yep. There
you
go.
Maximize the time,
Yeah. Yeah. And you added a minute there.
And then one time we did a 5K for a charity thing.
Yeah.
And you do it in like 30, 31 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck.
I still have time.
Fuck.
Now I know because I did a 5K during one too.
Yeah, and I hit the finish line, and I look at my wife. I said, "I'll be back."
Yeah.
And she's like, she knew,
Yeah.
She's like, "All right." And I set my timer for like 9 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
kept running until it went
Yeah.
off. I turned around, ran back, and I was like, all right, I had to do it,
Yeah,
So
everybody at the line's probably like, what's he doing? Don't he
dude
know?
doing? And then
Yeah.
I think I tagged you on the one night. I was in a poker tournament,
Yeah.
and I was watching the clock, and I still haven't done my outside workout yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck. And I'm playing and playing and I'm playing. And it got to 10 after 11 at night. I'm like, I got to go, guys. And they're like, what? Where are you going? I'm like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't know. In my mind,
I just gotta go.
I didn't say this, but in my mind, I'm like, you wouldn't understand if I tried to explain
Yeah,
it.
no.
But then I gave in to my wife. But
Yeah.
it's all good.
Well,
But
if it's anybody, at least it's her.
Yeah. But then I didn't start it over.
Yeah.
But the 2-day workouts, I fucking love those.
Yeah, so I got to where I absolutely love the outdoor. And my outdoors weren't always the most intense thing because my indoors are pretty intense.
See, I did the same thing. My outdoor was more like a fast walk outside.
Yeah,
Because
and
my indoor was just crushing it.
but I needed that, like that was the one time during the day that it was just me. Right. I wasn't
Would you have
taking
headphones in with like a podcast or something?
not always. Yeah. Well, I would listen to podcasts. I would listen to Audible, or sometimes I was just listening to music, or sometimes I didn't have anything at all.
Yeah, I did that too.
But in general, it was just the only time it was just me. And I started putting my phone on Do Not Disturb during it.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Like that was huge for me because I'm someone who will be like, you want to do today? I canceled 2 plans today. Me 2 months ago would have never done that. I canceled my first plan from the morning and my plan tonight because I'm like, I have stuff to do. Mm-hmm. And if I go engage in all these fun activities,
I ain't gonna get my shit
I'm not
done.
going to get my shit done.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
I'm going to
yeah.
have a wreck of a week, and that's not cool.
Yep.
So I'm someone who will go and, see shiny objects, do everything, and then just burn out. And with 75 hard, specifically that outdoor part, I started to set boundaries,
Oh, not well.
and
so
learn when
you're-
to say no. And
So that with 75 hard, somebody asked you to do something. You're like, no, I have to do this workout to complete
Exactly.
this task. So now that sets you up. Now you're like, somebody's like, hey, you want to come? No, I have this I got to get done.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's
That's
huge.
what it was for.
It's
apparently,
huge
if you listen to him talk
for
about
me.
it.
Yeah.
Good for
Yeah.
you. Congratulations.
huge. Yeah. That changed my life.
Oh, that's cool.
And I even said, so this year in general it's pretty like monumental for me. I've made a lot of change, pretty much changed everything. And so I'll always remember this past year of my life, like 80 years old, I'm going to remember this year. And I know that. I am going to remember those walks. And there was one day that I was on a walk and I got a little emotional. And it's kind of like if you saw me on the street, you'd be like, what is wrong with that girl?
She's walking around crying.
Yeah, she's by herself.
You posted about that.
Yeah, so I got
Yeah.
I got a little, and that's so exactly. So I would try and post all of these like when I had these revelations or like whatever,
Right.
because I feel they're really important. And that day I was like, holy shit, this is important. What I'm doing right now is a big deal. I'm gonna remember these nights.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like that, like even right now, like it's just like I'm so grateful for 75 hard.
Good.
Because without it, I would never take that time. I would never pull that time out of my day to go for a walk. I wouldn't have done it.
Right. So that was big for me.
Yeah.
And now with my new job, it's a 12-minute drive or a 22-minute ride on my mountain bike.
Oh.
So there's my
So you're taking the bike.
take the bike, and I hit the gym on the way home.
That's pretty sweet. Do you get to work sweaty? I feel like I would get to work pretty sweaty.
I don't. I'm not like running the fucking
Right.
Tour de France.
Right.
I'm in khaki pants and sneakers and a polo shirt, but it's an easy ride.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
Then I'm in one location all day, and then I ride home. And I pass the gym. You saw where my gym is.
Yeah,
I
that's
pass the
sweet.
gym. I swing in there, lock my bike up, go get in there for 45 minutes, bang out.
Well, that
sling
too,
some
that
weights
just
around
that leads to like this is a lifestyle, right? Like
Absolutely.
it's not something that we just do, and that goes back to the beginning of the podcast. Is like people ask you how you do it. Well, like you just adapt your life to it. That's how.
Well, no, yeah, but the thing is too, I did a well, I guess it's public speaking in the old video company. I would do a lot of people would invite me to speak about entrepreneurship and
Right,
that kind
right.
of thing, right? And this one specific one, they're like, do you have a slide show or whatever? PowerPoint. I was like, no. And they're like, what are you doing? I said, I'll keep my, I go, how long is it? They're like 30 minutes. I'm, dude, I can talk for 30 minutes. I don't need a PowerPoint, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we have this big screen. And it's kind of the way set up. We need PowerPoint. Sorry, fuck it. So the short of it is, behind me for most of the time, it was all black with just 24 behind in big white numbers, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I assume you guys think you know what that means, right? And people would answer. And I said, it's the best equalizer in the world.
We all have it.
We all have it. You can never fucking change that. But what do you do during that time, right? And then the next slide was replace I don't have time with it's not a priority, right?
Yep.
It's not a bad thing. Don't think of it as a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
So
It's honest.
yeah, it's honest. Take you and I for an example. Me personally, it's a priority for me to fucking go to the gym
Yeah.
and work out, right? To somebody else, that's not a priority, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But say that.
Yeah.
It's not a priority that I don't go, I don't have time. No, then you're bullshitting yourself.
Yeah.
So at that specific time, I go, let's use fitness as an example. Everybody say, I don't have time to go to the gym. You know, of course, you get some people.
Yeah. Mumble.
Yeah. And I'm like,
They all forget how to speak.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, now say it's not a priority. And they're like, it's not a priority. I go, does that feel different to you? How does that feel? So and again, it's not a negative thing. It's just going back to what you just said. It's priority.
Yep.
You know?
It's the truth.
Yeah. You don't
And
have
you
a TV.
frame your day around your priorities. So
Yeah.
if you have different priorities than me, your day's gonna look different than mine. That's just the
Yeah. And you can't judge somebody. You don't know what they're doing.
no.
And it's like going back to one of Andy Frisella's phrases that I fucking love is, you know how you get stronger in the gym? Don't worry about how many reps the other fucking guy's doing.
Yeah.
Worry about how many reps you're fucking doing.
Yep.
But you could apply that to life.
Yeah.
When a guy drives down the road in a nice yellow Ferrari, don't go, oh, must be nice.
No.
You have no fucking
No.
clue how that guy got that car.
Yeah.
And he might be 10 times upside down in it.
Yeah.
You don't know that.
You have
Or-
no
Yeah,
idea.
or he saved for the last 20 years and bought it cash, and
Yeah.
now he's out enjoying it.
Yeah.
You don't fucking know.
Yeah.
You know? So I get on a fucking horse with.
Well, I mean, that
get on a
goes back
soapbox
to,
with
that's
that
just
kind of
a
stuff.
perspective thing, right? And it goes back to what we were saying before is like, you can't hate anybody if you know their story.
That's awesome.
You really
I'm
can't.
so stealing that from
yeah,
you.
that's
Just so
okay.
know.
You
All right.
should. I think everybody should. Everybody should, and they should implement that
Yeah,
thought.
yeah, exactly. No. I mean, that's just a good way to look at it. It's to encapsulize the longer version of it is you don't know what they're going through. Da da da.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know them.
You don't.
Yeah. So going back to being outside, you have your dog,
Yeah.
Missy or
Misty.
Misty
With a T.
All right.
Yeah.
That's your like.
She's my
companion.
soulmate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, dogs are
Yeah.
amazing. I have 2 cats. You met my cats when you
Yeah.
came in.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're
sleeping.
chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the matter with your dog? You mentioned something about
So it sucks.
she can't work out or
She
something.
can't work out.
Well,
So I rescued her. She's
a
from
puppy?
I still don't even know how old she is. We're
Okay.
thinking like 4 years old. I rescued her. She's from Georgia, and that was just a little over a year ago. And when I got her, she'd had all her tests as rescues do, tested negative for, I'll bring it up in a minute, tested negative, everything looks good, whatever. And that's heartworm. She tested negative for heartworm, which
Okay.
is like, good, thank God.
Was she in a bad? Do you know her situation?
Well, she was in Georgia. All I know, and nothing is for certain, but she's really strange with men when she first meets them. She's
Men
just, she
beating on
doesn't
her or
trust.
something.
Yeah. And she's so much better. I mean, it's night and day now how she interacts with the world. But when I got her, never dealt with, this is maybe too much information, but I'd never dealt with submissive urination. But like she would like see someone be scared and she'd be peeing on the ground. And I'd never.
So scared, not excited.
Yeah, no, scared, petrified. Like she thought she was going to get hurt. And that one breaks my heart. I can't even imagine like what would have happened for her to be that scared just to see you, you know, like that's really bothers me. So there's that. But then I didn't know how to handle that because I'd never dealt with it. So, you know, then I have to do my research. Then I'm learning to like coddle this dog, but not too much because you don't want to, you know, so
turn
it's
it around.
So it's a lot.
Now,
there
did
was
you
a
like
learning.
socialize her a lot?
Yeah,
Was
so
that
I
kind
had
of
another dog too.
you
I
have
was
2 dogs?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I was with my ex at the time, so we had both of them. And so that was good for her, and it ended up getting better, you know. And I did socialize her. I brought her around my brother's dogs. I did everything I could, and she's much better. And now, fast forward a year, this dog does everything with me. Like she was going on my 75 hard walks with me. We loved that. She loved that. She was like, "This is amazing!" Like
I get to walk every day,
every day. And she was she was trimming out. Her legs are getting all muscular. So she was reaping the benefits. And then I go in. I have a vet appointment. It's just her annual. Yeah, I just go in for her annual, and you don't expect any issues. Especially my dog looks so healthy. Like she works out every day. Whatever. So we go in for her annual.
You should see her bench.
Yeah, like I'm proud of this chick, and we go in and they take her blood, whatever, all normal procedure. I was in my old town, so I had like a workout date set up with the owner of my old gym. Like she knew I was coming, and I'm looking at my clock. I'm like, what time? I'm going to be late. Why am I going to, what are they doing? You know, like they had taken her blood and they just disappeared.
Oh,
and
that's never a good sign.
And so I started to get a little uneasy, and then they came in, and the vet tech is actually someone I went to high school with, but I haven't really spoken to her since, but we know each other. And she's like, "Where's Misty from?" She's from the South, right? I said, "Yeah, she's from Georgia." And she was like, "She's testing positive for heartworm."
Oh no.
And I have this like really very particular fear about heartworm because I know a girl from my old town who had this really healthy dog and then he just died. And it was like, well, why did he die? It was heartworm. And heartworm you can prevent it. So it's like.
Right. But why did she say the South though?
Because it's more prevalent. It's so much more prevalent, heartworm in the South. Like it is a Southern thing.
Is that just environmental?
Yeah. So, so I'm like, what? Like, and I'm breaking, right? Like here. So I equated it. Yeah. So I'm like, is this how parents feel when they're told their kid is sick? Like you're completely helpless. You're thinking like, what did I do to make this happen? Like I'm not handling this well, right? I'm trying to be an adult. I'm trying. She's like, the doctor.
How long ago did
this was 2 months ago now.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, the doctor will come in and explain it, right? So he comes in, and I have tears in my eyes. I've been Googling it, you know. I know what I know, but I'm trying to educate myself while I wait for him to come in. And just like, it's bad. Like, it's not a good thing for a dog to have. Once they have it,
it's tough to get rid of.
Yeah.
Now, is it stages like cancer? Like
it's so her treatment goes in stages. So, and I'll explain that. So he starts talking to me. I'm not doing well. You know, Misty's fine. She's like gallivanting around the room. Like,
she don't know any different. Like, why is everybody sad?
Yeah. And I'm upset. And your first thought is like to the worst possible scenario. And that's like her dying, right? And I can't even imagine. Like, this dog does everything with me. And I'm by myself if I don't have her. You know, so I'm like kind of breaking. And they're like, but it's going to be okay. Like, we're going to figure it out. And I'm like, yeah, we have to, right? So, like, there's not really another option other than her getting better. So then I have that mental shift as I go from, oh, my God, this is terrible to, wait, it can't be terrible. So I just, like, it's a perspective thing. So we work through, like, how we're going to treat it. And there's 2 different ways. And one's less evasive and da-da-da-da. And he's like, because the process is long and relatively evasive, I want a second opinion. So he sent her blood out the next day. We had more results.
So they caught it through blood work.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he called me like 8 p.m. That's how you know you have a good doctor. They call you on their cell phone at 8 p.m. And he tells me what's the word? Equivocal. He calls me. He's like, her results are equivocal. And I was like, I have no idea what that means.
Can you spell that?
And he's like, yeah, so this test can either be positive or negative. And she just breached the line into positive, so it's equivocal. So we're going to go less evasive. And,
okay.
But he was like kind of confused by these results because they really can only be positive or negative, and she like just showed positive. So that means, and the way he explained it is that the worms in her heart, there weren't that many and they weren't that mature. So that was good news.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see the more and the more quantity and the more mature, they probably give off a more.
It would have taken her over more.
Yeah.
So
nice.
So we're like, okay. Like still has worms, still a really long procedure, still rough, but she's gonna be fine, right? So now we just talk, how do we handle this? And we go through, and long story short is you have to kill these things off in it's a slow kill, because if you kill them off quickly, then they'll clog. They'll clog, right? All that blood flow, they'll get caught up in it and they'll clog it, and then she'll die from that.
Yeah, blood clot.
And that's why dogs tend to die from this, because they're treated too fast, or they're taking a preventative, a heart guard, tri-heart. They're taking a preventative, and you don't know they have. So then they're exercising. So their blood's pumping. That's why she can't exercise, because she can't get her heart rate up. Her blood can't pump through her veins any faster than it is at resting. Wow. That's why she can't exercise until September. So no more working out for her till then. So that's pretty rough.
Yeah, I was just going to say, as active as she is, that's going to be.
It's. I mean, now we're in this for like 2 months, and now it's summer. So of course, like it'd be great, like you said before, like, oh, take the pup out. Like it would be amazing. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
And
you saw where I was talking, right?
It's it was super cool. Yeah. And you can tell, like, she gets set, like, she knows I'm getting ready for a walk. She can see me. She's not dumb. So she thinks she's supposed to, and then I put her in the crate. And she's like, what the fuck?
What the hell did I do?
And that's sad.
Yeah. She's like, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a bummer, but we keep a positive outlook. She's going to be okay.
Do you crate her during the day?
I'm home most of the time, so she's pretty much out and about. So if I'm gone, she's crated, but she chills. Like she just sleeps.
She's good with the crate.
Yeah.
Do you live in an apartment building?
I live in a house. It's a duplex. So I have the space, but she's comfortable in a crate. Like she'll walk into that thing, no problem. And I think it's because she is a rescue and she was in transport and all that, and
comfortable in there.
Yeah. She doesn't hesitate. So.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's that.
Got to keep her.
So that's an example of when you think everything's going really well. Because I was in a really good spot then. I was in a good spot, like mentally, physically, emotionally, and then you get that curveball. Like, here's I literally call her my soulmate. Here's your soulmate. She's sick. What are you gonna do? Yep. And it's like,
how are you gonna handle that?
Yeah. And so. We're handling it.
Well, good thing you had her do a checkup, right?
Yeah.
Do you have pet insurance?
No. No. So that's the other thing. I was going to randomly go on this like yoga retreat, which I don't even practice yoga. Now I've been doing it like once a week almost. But I really don't practice yoga. I'm still like a yogi who's on the mat and they say, go into this pose. And I'm like looking up at the instructor. I gotta see what she's doing. I have no idea what the pose is. So I'm at that level. Right. And I love it. I mean, it's so good. Yoga is so good, especially for people with our brains that just go and go and go. It's incredible.
Slam you down.
Yeah. So
the only time I ever did yoga, the experience I had when I came off my back surgery.
Oh, yeah.
The doctor was like, you should try yoga, but it's got to be. But he wouldn't let me do it for like 4 months.
Yeah.
He's like, so we went to, my wife's huge with yoga, loves yoga. So she's like, I'll take you. So she would look up these classes, beginner classes. And I'd go, hey, no fucking beginner class. The instructor's like, boop, boop, boop. Okay, this pose. And it's like you're not even in the room. And I'm like, okay, this might work for some people. I ain't got a fucking clue what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't bend that way.
It might be an instructor thing. Because I've had
Yeah, I
some
think
pretty
it's
good
the
ones. Yeah.
Well, then
Where they show you all the modifications and
yeah, and then we found one pretty local here, and so we call, and the lady at the desk was like, we give her my situation. She's like, no, don't do that class. Do this class.
oh, that's good.
And the instructor's great, da-da-da, you know, go through the whole thing. So we went down, and it was amazing. Like, I would, like, sit there and, like,
Yeah.
be like, what the fuck am I doing? And she got up and walk around the room and, like, no, put your arm here, put your elbow
Adjust.
here, you know,
Yep.
and then, like, and it made such a huge difference. And I went for a couple months, and I was like, I'm going back to the gym.
You gotta incorporate it like maybe once a week. Yeah, no, it's
I
it's
told my wife I
awesome.
was going to try hot yoga.
Yeah. So
I
that's
sweat-
what I've
well,
been
I
doing.
sweat when I eat. So
So I always say I sweat when I'm sitting down.
okay, I
Yeah,
sweat
so
when I
we
eat.
have that same joke going for us. But
Hot
yeah.
yoga, you like that? It's
I
like
love
being in
it.
a sauna, right?
yeah, and you know what?
You're moving.
It's awesome. It elevates the intensity, of course, but it also really does. Like you sweat out some toxins. Like I just came back from this trip. I was gone for like 9 days, and
Now, do you hunt down a yoga class while you're traveling?
no, I didn't do yoga while I was traveling. I actually didn't go to any cool gyms. I just stayed at that
At
gym
the
there.
resort?
But yeah, so that's been something like when I was in Arkansas 2 weeks ago. I know with First Form, you meet people, and that's social media for you, right? So I have people all over the country I know now.
Well, I think that's how we got connected again, right? Like
That's how we reunited, but on a more personal level. Because at first we just networked at a chamber event.
Yep,
I
yep.
think, right?
Yeah, because then you hit me up about because I tagged like First Form or Boom
Yeah.
or something.
Oh yeah,
you
and I
hit
said
me up.
Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because
what it
it's a
was.
whole culture.
Yeah.
But that's it, right? So the Legion of Boom is all over. And I met this guy on the internet. It sounds so ridiculous, but that's the truth. We met through Instagram. He saw I was in, and we became friends. Like we've had multiple conversations, and he saw I was in Arkansas. He's like, "Oh, you're here," and I was like,
Let's work
"Wait,
out."
we talked about this. You work out right near where my cousin lives, and we were there for her wedding, so that means we're gotta be close."
Yeah, yeah.
And I was 15 minutes away from him.
That's cool. That's
So
super
we
cool.
went and trained with him. And that was awesome. Like I mean, that was the coolest, that was my favorite part of the trip. I mean,
What? Not the wedding?
it's just because it wasn't expected.
Right.
And two, I got to do what I wanted to do, but even better, like I was
Yeah,
going to work
yeah.
out anyway, but this, I got to go to this really cool gym. I got to do just like today. Like we're like, oh, we got to put together this weird, crazy circuit
At the end,
just because
break
we're
a sweat.
together.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Of course.
So it was that. And then we ended up working out again. So I got 2 workouts in with him in a 4-day span.
Nice.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like I said before, it's just cool to be around people like you.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks.
So-
Yeah, and I thought too, traveling now because of that connection.
Yeah.
I'll post up, be like, anybody here with.
Yeah,
in-
I
in
did
the
put. I
community?
put something out. I said, "Is anybody in the town I was in Florida?" And nobody answered.
Nobody
so
answered.
everybody said,
Well-
"I wish." It was a poll. They all said, "I wish." I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
"Yeah."
Yeah. I would go to Maui for a couple weeks at a time in my old marriage, right?
Yeah.
And most of the time we stay at a resort. So like when you're traveling, like you were saying earlier, I would just use the
Hotel
whatever
gym.
fitness,
Yeah,
whatever.
whatever's there.
It's a fitness center.
Yeah.
It's not a gym. It's
Exactly.
a fitness center.
Yeah. True.
True, exactly. And it worked for a couple weeks just to kind of
Yeah.
maintain and just get a workout
That's it
in.
though. Is
Yeah,
you're
right,
you're
yeah.
just playing maintenance, and we don't like that.
So- no,
we like
no.
to grow. We like to build.
So that being said, when Airbnb got big,
yeah.
we end up in an Airbnb, right? On a fucking gym.
Yeah.
So I was like looking around and walked down through town, and there was a gym like in a strip mall. You got the Chinese restaurant, the laundromat, and a gym.
Yeah. Typical.
Yeah, exactly. And I walk in and I go to grab the door handle, and there's a handwritten sign taped to the window, and it says, "If you don't like to lift heavy things, don't bother coming in."
You've posted about that before.
And I was like, "Fuck yeah.
This is where I got to be.
So I walk in, and all it was, imagine a Subway store, empty, with a little desk at the front, and all along one wall was nothing but squat racks.
Yeah.
In the middle was like 7 bench presses, and every bench press had a phone book all duct taped with it, right? And I'm like, this is fucking great. And the guy is like sitting at the desk all like nonchalant, you know? And I'm like, hey man, I'm in town a couple weeks. Can I, you know, what's the deal here? He's like, and he turns around, he's like, I have a gym. Do you want to use it? And I was like, yeah. I look around, he's like, yeah. And I went and looked, you know, just did a U through it. And it was all super old school equipment.
Cool.
All the pads were all ripped up. Everything was all rusty. The weights were just laying all over the place. And if you didn't know the size and the weight, you'd have no idea. It was just a fucking round, rusty disc.
Right.
And I was like, this is like, what? This is
come
fucking
true.
heaven, you know? So I get there, I get back to the top or at the front door, and I said, I don't see any cardio equipment. And he kind of like looks around and he goes, I think I could find a jump rope if you need one. And I'm like, this is heaven. And I go, how much? And he's like, oh, $75. I was like, all right, cool, you know. So what I did, I'd go first thing in the morning because my ex-wife and her family like to walk.
Right.
And they'd like walk to a Starbucks and stuff. I'm like, I'm going to hit the gym. So I hit the gym. And I was just doing super heavy weight, very low reps.
Right.
Right? Maybe 5 or 6 sets, but the reps were 2 or 3, just fucking super heavy.
Right.
And because there was a time in my life I wasn't very happy and I was lifting angry. We can go into all that. But within a week, it was crazy just seeing the results within a week.
Yeah.
And when I never even thought about it. I'd go lift.
Yeah, you were just working.
We're doing our thing. And I'm in the shower one day, and I'm like washing up, and I'm like, you start feeling that, and you're like, what the fuck? Holy shit. So I get out of the shower, and I look in the mirror, and I'm like, God damn. And my ex-wife was like, I don't like you that big. And I was like, all right, well, okay, all right. Well, why the fuck then I got thinking, why the fuck did I get so big?
Yeah.
You know? And I'd work out hard, have a monster breakfast, sit around all day,
recovery.
have a monster lunch, probably swim a little bit in the ocean, maybe do a little paddleboarding.
Yeah.
Have a monster dinner with some ice cream.
Yeah.
And go back and lift. And
Eat
I did
big,
that for
get
7,
big.
you know, and it was just nothing but calories and lifting. And I was like, this has got to be a fluke. But I reenacted it a couple times years later. And I found out that if I change my workout routine and eat like just massive calories, I get fucking big.
Yeah.
And well, right, it's science, right? But the thing is, I don't have to work that hard to get that big. It's, you know, I got farmer genes.
It's part of you.
Yeah, yeah. So people are like, why do you do so much cardio? I'm like, because I don't want to look like you. But it's nothing wrong being that big. You know, I don't.
It's just not you. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it's like in my profession and stuff. You know,
it's
I
not.
can. Yeah, yeah. But and as you get older, you know, doing dips with 3 or 4 45-pound plates on a belt. You're 45 years old. Dude. There's no reason to do that anymore. You know, when you're 25, that's cool. You know, and you're just, you know, you're ripping through it. But going back to like why you work out so much or why I work out so much, like you said, it's just life.
Yeah.
If my wife says, hey man, I want to go on oh shit, that reminds me. So a couple weekends ago, there's a funny story. A couple weekends ago, my wife's a triathlete.
Yeah.
Right. So
Awesome.
she's like, Sunday morning, this is the plan. I'm going to go on a 75-mile bike ride. I'm like, cool.
Casual.
Casual. I'm going to walk or run from my apartment here in Utah. I go up through Eagle Rock,
Right.
Go to the gym. I'm going to do legs, and I'm going to walk back. It's 3 miles one way, right? So, and I work legs just as hard as everything else, right? So I'm halfway through my leg workout, and my wife texts me and says, our ride was canceled because of the weather. I said, all right. Okay. So it's fine. I'll see you when I get home. She's like, cool. Just as I'm finishing up my workout, she texts me and goes, I got an idea. This band, Thingamajigs, is a band.
Yeah.
They're like playing over in Maywood or some fucking town.
Yeah.
Right? She goes, why don't we ride our bikes over and watch them and have lunch and shit like that? And I'm like, never even thought about it. Yep,
Yeah.
cool. I'll
Sure.
see you. Yeah, it's going to take me a little while to get back because I'm walking back. I walk home. As soon as I get home,
Jump on a bike.
I jump on a bike and it's 15 miles one way to where the fuck we were going. But that's why I work out like I do.
Yeah.
To be able to do that and not think nothing of it.
Yeah.
Sure, was I tired when we got home? Of
course.
You know?
It's your body. But yeah.
Or a guy, my buddies call him and go, hey man, we need a guy tonight for basketball. I can just fucking jump in and play.
You can plug in. Yeah, similar. So I've stated, right, I don't run. And then
I'm sorry, did you say you don't run?
yeah, like that's the title of this podcast. Chick doesn't run. So so
I don't run. All caps.
so my friend who we train a lot together. She's the yoga instructor. I go do yoga with her. Okay. We see a lot of each other. She is like, oh, I'm doing this 5K. And the only times I've ever done a 5K was something like I was a volunteer for the organization putting it on, you know, like I'm always like working it, and then you run it or you walk it because other people are, and you know, like it's a team, whatever.
And, hey, let's go.
But I've never done it where I like cared about time or even thought about it. And this was during my 75 hard, and you kind of get this like, you're not proving to anybody else. You're just proving to yourself what you can do.
Absolutely. I use a 5K for that every time.
Well,
it's
now I
me
think
at
that's
that
my
point.
new, usually I'm walking with the team or jogging with the team. So I want to stay with the team. And she's like, I'm running this with another friend, but we probably won't run it together. And I was like, all right, well, if I did this, I probably wouldn't run it together either. I have no idea what to expect of myself. But I'm not opposed. Like, I want to do it. I think I want to do it. I didn't want to do the run, but I wanted to see what I was capable of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so the night before, and I did just that. Like, she told me a week about it in advance. And like I said, I keep a pretty packed schedule. So I was like, let me just see if anything comes up of importance. Because this would be cool, but I don't need to do it, right?
Right.
So the night before, I'm like, you know what? Nothing came up. I don't want to do it now. I waited all this time. I definitely don't want to do it, but I'm going to come. And she's like, all right, be at my house at 7 a.m. Saturday morning. She lives 45 minutes away. So I'm like, all right. So we get there. You
got to time your consumption of pre-workout.
Yeah, like it was kind of, in general, like it's just like funny because you do, like it's Saturday, right? Some people want to hang, chill. And I'm like, yeah, let me just go run this 5K that I don't want to do at all, right? So that's that mental switch.
Yeah.
But, I had this crazy leg day like 3 days prior, and I told you I don't get that sore, but that I was sore. I was really sore, and it was like days after, and I was like, what is going on here? It's because I switched up what I was doing completely. You know, like I worked completely different muscles. I just did everything different. So I was feeling it.
It's a good thing to run then.
Yeah, I was, but I wasn't feeling like good. You know, like I was like, I feel like I'm in the ground right now, and let's go do this. And then this will show you a little bit how my brain works too. So I hadn't signed up for the race, right? Because I made this decision the night before. And we get there and we're at the registration table. Her and her friend, they already signed up. They signed up a week ago, maybe before that. So they have their numbers. They just bing right through registration. I have to sign up. Well, on the stack of bib numbers at the top, I see 212, which is the boiling point of water. I can explain why this is important later.
I was just going to say, okay.
It's the boiling point of water, right? So 212. I look at it. I look at the girl next to me filling out a registration sheet. She's almost done with her sheet. She's going to get that 212, but I want it. So instead of saying anything, like, hey, can I have that?
You just fucking
I just fucking write as fast as I can. This is important later. I write as fast as I can. It's like handing in your test when you're a kid, right? Yeah. Like, who's first?
ABC.
So I like throw my paper at him, right? Like, here it is. He pulls off 212, writes 212. I'm like, all right, I win. Like, I get this number. This is the number I wanted.
Victory.
But now that I have this number, I'm like, I have to take this seriously. Like I have to
because
run.
of the number. So now
So
we gotta
it
know
was a
why
mental thing. So the reason, and this is not like no one else, I like numbers. So like numbers resonate with me, but it took me back to high school soccer, sophomore year. It was always guys and girls, right? Guys play away, girls play home.
You can-
when the, should I pull this back?
No, if you don't want to hunch over, you can
Right,
put it back a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So the guys team, sophomore year of high school, they got shirts made, and on the back it just said 212, and it was about bringing the heat. Like that was the
okay,
mentality
okay.
behind it. And I haven't thought about that shirt since sophomore year,
We got
but
a
when I
new-
saw that number, I was like,
We got a new
212.
hashtag.
Yeah, 212.
Hashtag
Yeah,
212.
we could do that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Right.
So, and that's what it was. And I saw that number and I needed it. Like I was like, that has to be mine. I don't even know what's behind it. I don't know if it was 213, but regardless, that's not my number. 212, I wanted it. And so I did what it took to get it. And I'm telling my friend this because I'm like kind of laughing at myself because that's ridiculous. And she's like, what are you laughing at? And I'm explaining. She's like, why didn't you just tell him like you wanted that number? I'm sure that girl, no one cares about 212. So I'm sure
you
she
don't
didn't.
know that. She might have been
Right.
like, I don't want 212. I'm going to take time.
But it could have been anything. But she's like, why didn't you just say something? I'm sure
It feels better to
And I was
fucking
like,
win it.
nah, I don't know. I didn't even have that thought go through my head. I didn't have that much time. She was almost done with her paper. So that kind of shows a little bit. Then I run and I do a good job. You know, I do pretty
What's your
well. It was 26:29.
God damn, for somebody that doesn't run.
And I don't run, but I was dying. I mean, at the end of it, I laid down. So, but here's what happened is my friend and I, we started off together and I'm like, God, this doesn't feel good at all. And I'm like waiting for my stride to break and feel good. And I just never.
Oh, you never got like that.
I never
elusive-
felt
well,
good.
Not, it's not elusive,
I never. Yeah,
but-
my body was just tight the whole time. It just like never felt good. But I just kept going, and like every time I wanted to stop, where old me would have like, all right, like you busted
just
your
walk,
ass.
yeah.
Yeah. I was like, no, and that's when I would speed up. And so that was 75 hard at play. That was mind over
Nice
matter.
job, yeah.
And I just nonstop. And it came to a point where someone at the end of the race, he was like, I used you as a pacer. Like, he's like, I had to stay with you. And I was
do
like,
that too.
that was a cool compliment. Cause I'm like,
I don't run.
he's a runner and he's using me to pace him,
Yeah.
you know? So that was cool. And then I got second place in my age group, which those runs, like there's not a million people, but there was a
right.
decent amount of
I was
people.
going to say, in our age group, there's usually a lot of people.
Exactly. And the age group was 21 to 29. So
then I'm not
it's
in
a
that age group.
That's a decade. We're not in this, but regardless, there's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people.
And I got
that age.
second place. Well, when they announced my name, they didn't say my name right. And I'm like, man, my name is really easy. It's because I wrote so fucking fast that it was completely illegible.
They're like,
So,
Brittany.
well, it was Brittany Landis, question mark. I don't know if I said that right. And I was like, you didn't. And then I went up and saw.
I'll take my trophy.
Yeah. So that's what happened is like, because I was in such a hurry to get that number, I completely botched my name.
My
Priorities.
My best time was, I like the, you scribbled your name so hard they couldn't read it. Mm-hmm. That's pretty good. So I think hashtag 212.
212, boiling point.
Bring the fucking heat.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Some of the guys at the gym, they're like, hey, Saturday morning we're doing deadlifts. I'm like, I can't. They're like, what's up? I said, I told my wife I'd run this 5K with her. And they're like, what time? I said, it's like 8 o'clock start. I got to leave at like 7.
Yeah.
And they go, well, we're going to come in first thing, you know? And I was like, well, what do you expect me to do? Crush it with fucking deadlifts and then go then go run a 5K? And they're like,
Yeah.
they gave me the look. I'm like, here it comes. They're like, well, if you weren't such a little bitch. And I was like, oh, Christ. I said, all right, guys, I'll tell you what. I'll come in and deadlift with you guys.
But you gotta
You
run
gotta go
this
fucking run with
5K.
me.
Hell
you
yeah.
know? They're like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. You fucking guys ain't running. They're great guys, but you know.
Yeah.
So I come in and we just fucking crush deadlifts.
Right.
And with my back, I can't use a straight bar. I have
Okay.
to use a trap bar.
Those are cool anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, and weight's weight, man. 500 pounds is fucking 500 pounds. And so, of course, you get 3 guys together.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't, one more, you
Yep.
know. And I was like, all right, guys, I got to go. I go, who's coming with me? Just,
Great.
they're all looking at their feet and shit. I'm like, you bunch of fuckers,
Yeah.
So I run. I get to where my wife, she's helped setting up and all that. So she was there before me. I get there probably 5 minutes before the race starts, right? And I'm like, I'm so glad that I got here and I'm not sitting around for 30 minutes because I'd have been
that
done.
build up.
I'd have been done. Haul in ass. And the last quarter mile, I could barely pick my feet up off the ground. But I did it in 32 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's awesome.
Right. And
Yeah.
I was just like, wait till these I see my buddies,
Yeah.
But then another funny 5K story. We go to Chelsea Pier, and it's the USO 5K. We do it every year.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm standing in the chute, right? I got a fucking number on my chest, and here comes this little twig of a dude, skinny,
Yeah.
5 foot tall runner.
Definitely a runner.
Dude,
Yeah.
and he stands next to me, and I'm like, I got this feeling. I'm like, here it comes, And I'm sitting there, and I'm trying to ignore him. He's like, oh, so you're running in this race, huh? And it's like, man, is my tongue bleeding? Seriously, dude, you just I'm standing in this fucking chute with a number. But he's just one of them guys that, because I'm a bigger guy,
Yeah.
so he's going to come over and act like he can fucking run faster than me.
Yeah.
It's just like, one, you're not, the whole comparison bullshit, right?
Yeah. There's
So
people that they need that external validation. Yeah.
And he goes, how fast can you run it? I said, probably 30 minutes, And he's like, huh, I can do it in 22.
Cool.
And I go, that's cool. And I kind of turned and gave him the old security kind of look down on him, made him uncomfortable. And I go, but I can do it in 30 carrying you. And he kind of didn't roll his eyes, but what the fuck?
Yeah.
And walked away. I'm like, get the fuck away.
That's not the conversation he came over to have.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be like, he wanted me to be like, oh my God, that's amazing. You can do it. Get the fuck away from me. But I remember that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's his thing, right?
Yeah.
So you have the classic CrossFitters, you have the power lifters, you have the strongmen, you have, everybody's got their thing. And my attitude is, if you're doing something, fuck yeah.
Power to you.
Good for you.
Yeah.
As long as you're fucking moving.
100%. I agree.
I passed a guy in one of my 5Ks not too long ago. He says, I'm moving faster than the guy on the couch.
Yeah.
And I was like, how fucking true is that?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're doing it. You're out there. You're putting effort in.
I bust the guys' balls at the gym all the time. They'll be sitting there taking a breather. And I'll walk up, I'm like, hey man, them fuckers ain't gonna lift themselves.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck, all right. And they get going, and they laugh. You
Yeah.
know?
You
It's
had
fun.
your rest.
Yeah. So what's the plan
What's the plan?
for the rest of the weekend? Well, it's Sunday, so
Well,
got a busy week.
Yeah. I'm traveling again.
Cruise
Yeah.
with the family.
Yeah,
Isn't that what you
family
told me?
reunion. Yeah.
Nice.
It'll be cool. It's I've never been on a cruise, so there's that. And a lot of my family's never left the country, so that'll be really cool
Where you
for
going?
them. Mexico.
Like a Caribbean cruise or something?
Yeah, it's
Pretty
one of
standard.
the carnival.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know too many details because I didn't plan it. So I'm kind of just
Their gym is always fucking packed.
yeah. I wasn't
Well, it's
expecting that.
It's a gym about as big as my living room here,
Yeah.
and it's got a few pieces of equipment in it, and then there's 50 people trying to use it.
Man. Well, I'll have
That's
to get
why
creative, but
I've only been on one cruise, and we came from England back to New York on the Queen Mary
okay.
2, Queen Mary 2, and I found that out with the gym wasn't as packed because the average age, the people on the
They're
Queen Mary
older.
2 are older, but everybody I talked to on the carnivals and stuff like that, they just said,
Man.
my brother's a big workout guy like me, and he goes on cruises all the time. He's like, the gym is almost impossible to get into.
Well, I'll have to get
I
creative
just
with
wanted
that.
to give you a
Yeah,
little
give me a
heads
little
up.
heads up.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, even like what time everyone's drinking. So maybe like an afternoon because everyone's already got a buzz on. I can get in there. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
You a big drinker?
No. In fact, I mean, I've definitely I've done my drinking. But even with the 75 hard, like that was the easiest component for me was to not worry about it. There were I went to a wedding on it. I traveled for business, but we drank, you know, we didn't, I didn't drink. She drank. I didn't drink, you know, like I was under some of the elements where I would have absolutely drank before.
Yeah.
And I didn't really care. But then, you know, a couple days off of 75 hard, I was like, oh, I can have this. This is like, I'm at this lunch. I can have a beverage, you know, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, I've never been a huge drinker. I definitely partied when I was younger, as everybody does. Well, that's a generalization, but as most do, I partied.
Yeah.
But I'm not huge on it. And, I'm more of a social drinker. But I
sit
do
home in front of your computer watching Netflix with a six-pack?
I just don't. I have, you know, like I had a stage in my life, and that's part of like why I am the way I am now is I had a stage in my life where I was really unhappy, and I realized like I was going and buying 6-packs and like getting through them, and it's like the end of the week and then it's the weekend and I need to go buy a 6-pack for the party, and I'm like, whoa, hold on. That's not what I wanted to do. You know? So I went through that. I loved beer. I still enjoy beer. I just don't drink it, you know? I was a big craft beer person, but like that stuff adds up. It adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$7 a piece.
Yeah. Well, and it adds up on your belly.
Well, that too. Yeah, that too.
So now the way I look at it is, you know, is it worth me being exhausted in the morning and setting me back? No. So I just
emotionally and financially.
Yeah. So, and physically, like you can't get into the gym in the morning and feel the same way.
No.
And then you can't put the same amount of work in. And like we were talking priorities, like that's my priority. So if I'm going to bust up something I want to do for something like I was kind of wanting to do, it's not worth it for me. So no, I'm not a huge drinker.
So speaking of us meeting at an event, I think it was
November. It was a holiday party at your old studio. Yeah.
That's the last time I ever drank.
Yeah. I think you told me. That's crazy. That was like,
I haven't had a sip of anything since.
Wow.
So it's going on, what, a year and a half?
I feel like it might have been longer than that.
Yeah, December 1st of 17?
17? Maybe.
Because then you sent me that
You
picture.
would know better than me, yeah.
Then you sent that picture. I was like, shit.
That was then.
That was it. Next morning I woke up and said,
no mas.
No mas.
Yeah.
You know? And like 3 months later, I'm balancing my checkbook and I'm like, did I fucking forget to pay something? I'm like going through the numbers and I'm like checking everything, double checking everything. I'm like, what the fuck? God, that's a lot of money I got in my checking account.
What happened?
And I was like, oh.
Yeah, you took out a whole. Yeah, no. It adds up.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Like you said, emotionally, physically, and financially, there's a lot of weight to it.
Yeah. It's relatively detrimental. But I will drink on this cruise. I won't get wasted. But I'll enjoy it. Like I'm not so far opposed. I just realize it doesn't serve me. So I don't really engage that much, you know?
Yeah.
That's it.
Sweet. Well, enjoy the cruise.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming over.
Of course. Yeah,
it was a good workout today.
It was a really good workout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was pretty amped to lift some big girl weights.
Big girl weight. No, you did. You're a beast, man. You're a beast. Well,
Thanks.
I think too. You're. Well, I know now, and we've worked out before.
Yeah.
Your attitude. You're just like, yeah, I'll lift it.
Yeah.
You know, I gave you a little shit. And I'm like, that's an old thing with me. It's like, how many are you gonna give me?
Yeah.
And you're like 6. I'm like, what? You said 7, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And then what did I do?
That's the whole
8,
point.
9.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Then you ripped out even more. So it's like, motherfucker, you talk shit, I'll show you.
Yeah.
But that's what you want. You know,
Yeah.
that's why you have people
That's all
there.
part of it.
Yeah. So
100%.
thanks for coming over.
Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I'm excited to listen to this. That was fun.
Just so you know, there's no editing.
All right.
Whatever we said is out there.
You get what you
So
get.
you're stuttering and all that.
Yeah. Sometimes words are hard.
Yeah, that is true. So we'll go from there.
All right,
Thanks.
cool. Thank you. Bye.
As always, thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. As you can see, the variety of people that I have here at the table. So if you want to join me, I would love to have you, and we talk about just about anything. Hit me up, and again, thanks for listening.